Right, let's jump straight into this explainer. If you track industrial tech, you already know the buzzword. But today, we're going beyond the hype to see exactly how digital twins are literally merging our physical and digital realities into one massive, constantly learning ecosystem. We're looking at the whole shebang, from jet engines to fully virtualized automotive factories.
But to really ground this, I want to start with a kind of weird question. Do we actually take better care of our cars than we do our own health? I know it sounds a bit crazy, but think about it for a second. Your car's healthcare has been digitized for ages, right? It tells you exactly when it needs an oil change, when the tire pressure is low, or when a specific sensor gives out. Meanwhile, our own medical strategy is, well, it's often just Googling symptoms on WebMD and hoping for the best until something actually breaks. And honestly, that car analogy perfectly illustrates this concept of machine healthcare, which is an idea really pushed forward by the engineers over at GE. Take a look at this standard OBD2 scanner. Stuff like this paved the way for industrial systems to actively communicate their health to us. It was a total game changer. Instead of us fumbling around in the dark waiting to figure out what's broken, the machine literally tells us what it needs. And that digitized, proactive care, that is the absolute bedrock of the digital twin concept.
Which brings us to Section 1, the evolution, from break and fix to predictive twins. It is so fascinating to see how GE tracks this exact progression. If we look back at the 1980s, the whole break and fix era, we were basically just standing around asking, what just happened? After a massive failure. Fast forward to the 2000s, prognostics come into play, and we start asking, okay, what will break? Then in the 2010s, deep learning kicks in, allowing us to accurately predict when it's going to break. But the massive foundational leap happens right now with digital twins. We're no longer just reacting or predicting, we're asking, what if? We can now run incredibly complex what-if scenarios in a totally virtual space long before a single gear jams in the real world.
And the scale of this is just massive. We aren't talking about a single car engine anymore. As you can see, we're currently building living, breathing digital replicas of massive aviation turbines, incredibly complex locomotive networks, entire power plants, and they're even pointing this tech towards predictive models for human biology itself. It is, without a doubt, the ultimate system for asset optimization.
Moving on to Section 2, BIM versus digital twins, and the divide between static and dynamic models. So, if you're in the industry, you might be wondering, how is this different from BIM? Well, the crucial difference really comes down to static versus dynamic. Look, BIM is an absolutely fantastic process, right? It gives architects and engineers these incredibly detailed 3D models packed with material specs, costs, schedules, you name it. But BIM is static. It essentially represents the building during the design and construction phase. A digital twin, on the other hand, breathes life into that static model. It hooks up to IoT sensors, AI, and live data streams to create a real-time virtual copy that actually evolves throughout the entire lifecycle of the physical asset. So think of it this way. BIM helps you build it, but a digital twin helps you operate, maintain, and optimize it forever.
All right, Section 3, the 5 stages of digital twin creation. Because implementing this stuff isn't magic, right? It actually follows these 5 really structured stages. First off, you've got to collect and connect the data using real-world sensors and IoT devices. Second, you create the digital model itself, the actual geometry and physics of the asset. Third, you flip the switch on live monitoring, so you're streaming real-time data straight into the twin to reflect current conditions. Fourth, you unleash AI and predictive analytics on all that data to hunt down inefficiencies or predict failures. And finally, stage 5, you take all those insights and use them to make much better decisions in the physical world. Like, tweaking a factory layout or scheduling maintenance well before a machine actually breaks down.
Let's see what this looks like in the wild in Section 4, Twins in Action, Real-World Case Studies. 1.1 million. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the staggering number of digital twins currently being utilized by GE to manage over 300,000 industrial assets every single day. They're blending physics-based models with AI to just continuously learn. Just to give you an example, they use these twins to predict rotor failures and optimize the lifespan of steam turbines based on super specific flight data or really harsh environmental conditions. By getting, say, a 30-day advance warning on a potential failure, they're saving tens of millions of dollars just by avoiding forced outages and entirely unnecessary service overhauls.
And hey, it is definitely not just GE.
Over in the automotive world, BMW has partnered up with NVIDIA's Omniverse platform to do something truly groundbreaking with their manufacturing process. Milan from BMW production really hit the nail on the head when he said that the capability to operate in a perfect simulation absolutely revolutionizes their planning processes.
Let's actually break down what BMW is doing here because it is wild. They aren't just simulating a single machine on a line. They are simulating all 31 of their factories across 15 different countries. Think about this. They produce 2.5 million vehicles a year, and 99% of them are custom orders. To handle that insane level of complexity, they use NVIDIA Omniverse to spin up a digital twin of the entire factory floor. And what's truly mind-blowing is they even simulate their workforce. They literally use digital humans informed by real workers wearing motion capture suits to test factory floor ergonomics in virtual space. They can see exactly how far a worker has to bend down for a specific part. And then they just fix the line design before anyone lifts a finger in reality. Throw in fleets of intelligent robots trained on millions of synthetic images, and BMW expects their planning processes to become 30% more efficient. No way you get those gains without this tech.
So where is all this heading? Section 5, the future of simulation and the economic trajectory. Because this technology so directly drives down maintenance costs, optimizes human safety, and vastly improves sustainability, the global market for digital twins is absolutely rocketing upward. We're talking about a projected market value hitting a staggering $73.5 billion by 2027. We are rapidly moving away from a world where we design something on a computer and just kind of hope it works in reality to a world where we build, test, break, and perfect literally everything in the digital realm first. The factory of the future is already running flawlessly in the digital realm. But as we saw earlier, this definitely isn't stopping at machines. We're already looking at smart cities running on real-time data and personalized digital twins for human healthcare that could predict our own biological failures before they even happen. So I want to leave you with this question. As digital twins evolve to replicate human health and power entirely autonomous urban landscapes, what part of your physical reality will be simulated next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope it gave you a crystal clear picture of how our physical and digital worlds are officially merging.